emergency. What's going on? Who had the knife? What's going on? Is someone hurt?
She's stabbing my mom.
She stabbed your mom?
Yeah. Please, 251 Chagrin Drive, let the female was stabbed. Attention.
In this true crime documentary, we uncover how 18-year-old Sabrina Zunich turned from daughter to killer, and why the truth behind her foster mother's death is far darker than anyone imagined. The following story contains domestic violence and details that may make you uncomfortable. If you are sensitive to such content, please check out my other videos on the MOPD channel. You are welcome to watch any video that makes you feel safer and more comfortable. That trembling voice belongs to Megan Knoefel, 13 years old, a middle schooler from Willoughby Hills, Ohio. Moments earlier, her life was as ordinary as any suburban teenager's. A close family, 2 sisters, a caring stepfather, and a mother who worked hard to keep everyone safe. But that desperate call marked the instant when calm turned into chaos. Before the night was over, Megan's mother, Lisa Knoefel, would be gone. She was stabbed, but who was holding the knife? How could a family that seemed to love and care for each other fall into such darkness?
Have you had these type of issues in the past where you just don't remember things?
Like I said, she talked a big game about a lot of...
At first glance, the case seems odd but simple. A jealous streak between a daughter and a dove in the house. But behind it lies a troubled past, a traumatic childhood, and a secret hidden on a quiet suburban street. Who or what is really responsible for the death of her adoptive mother? That heartbreaking story is Sabrina Zunich. November 12, 2012. A seemingly ordinary day, but became a fateful milestone for the Knoefel family. The Knoefel family lives in Willoughby Hills, a quiet suburb of Cleveland, Ohio. They have a stable and quite comfortable life. This is Kevin Knoefel, a truck driver who spent nights on the road. His wife Lisa, a social services worker who helped children in need. It was a small 3-bedroom house in Willoughby Hills, Ohio, shaded by tall trees near the Chagrin River. The house had a spacious front yard, complete with a trampoline and wooden toys for the children. All the children in the family were well cared for and loved. There was no indication that anything was amiss, at least not at the time. That Monday evening, November 12, 2012, passed quietly. Kevin was on the road for work that night. Lisa was home with her children. Haley, a carefree 3-year-old, Megan, 13, her teenage daughter, and Sabrina, 18, who had just turned 18. Around 10 p.m., Lisa tucked Haley into bed and kissed her goodnight. Megan had already gone to her room. Sabrina was still awake, enjoying her newfound freedom. Upstairs, Sabrina sat in front of a computer finishing a project for her British literature class. Nothing out of the ordinary.
We're both upstairs in our rooms. We're separate rooms.
So what happened after she went to bed? Is Lisa still awake, or is Lisa sleeping at this time?
I don't know.
According to testimony, Sabrina stayed in her room listening to music and working on a personal project until around midnight. She then went upstairs and tried to go to sleep, but suffered a severe headache, leading to insomnia for the rest of the night.
After some point in time, you don't know how long it's been, you can't go to bed because you've got a headache, correct?
She got up, walked downstairs to Lisa and Kevin's room, and opened the medicine cabinet.
You go open up the medicine cabinet, white bottle that says ibuprofen. How many do you take?
3.
You take 3 of those. After you take 3 of them, where do you go from there?
I don't know.
Megan and Haley were sleeping. Lisa, tired after a long day, was also asleep. Only Sabrina remained awake, standing silently, taking her medicine. A small detail, but one that later became an important piece in the terrifying story. At around 1:15 a.m., the stillness broke. Megan woke to the sound of something, a thud, a faint cry. She rushed toward her mother's bedroom and froze at the door. Sabrina, her foster sister, was standing over Lisa, a knife in her hand, her mother bleeding on the floor.
911, what's an emergency?
Yeah, she's doing my mom with a knife. Will you please tell me?
She's doing what to your mom with the knife? You need to take a deep breath for me so I can understand you.
No, I did.
Lisa Knoefel had been stabbed 178 times across her head, neck, torso, and limbs. Defensive wounds covered Lisa's arms and hands, proof she tried to fight back until the end. Some of the wounds had a twisted blade, indicating a high force and intentional violence. One strike to her jawline was causing catastrophic neck injury. The knife was a 15-inch convex object that had been bent by the force of the strike. By the time medics arrived, her veins had already collapsed from massive blood loss. There was nothing they could do. Haley 3 hid in the closet, trembling with fear. Outside, Sabrina stood, covered in blood, her mother's blood. She still held the knife in her hand. Paramedics and officers enter the bedroom. Many wounds show twisting consistent with the blade being turned inside the body. A strike along the jawline is deep enough to sever the carotid artery. The knife's tip is bent from force. Defensive wounds cover Lisa's hands and forearms. She tried to fight back. The police tried to talk, but Sabrina was almost out of control. Her words were slurred, she was uncooperative. But it was all too clear. Megan had witnessed the attack and Sabrina was still covered in blood. Undeniable evidence. But what haunted everyone was not how she did it, but why. What could lead a girl to inflict such harm on her foster mother nearly 200 times? What had turned love into such hatred? Sabrina's childhood had been marked by instability. She was born in October 1994 to Mark Zunich and Susan Edwards, both from Ohio. Her mother, Susan, had served time for theft and later faced drug charges involving teenagers. According to court records, Susan's sentencing was delayed because she was pregnant with her half-sibling Sabrina, who were later indicted for obstruction of justice. Her father, Mark, struggled with alcohol and repeated arrests for disorderly conduct and drunk driving. When Sabrina was barely 16 months old, her father was arrested for domestic violence. It was just the beginning of a string of violent acts in Sabrina's troubled childhood. She lived with her father and grandmother in a small house in Wycliffe, estranged from her mother. Susan and Mark are still together, but neighbors recalled police being called to their small Wycliffe home constantly. Mark often drank heavily, and shockingly, when Sabrina cried at night, he would mix vodka into her bottle so she'd sleep. By 2006, when Sabrina was 11, the tension exploded again. Mark accused Susan of stealing money meant for alcohol, grabbed her by the hair, and threatened her. The police described him as a paranoid schizophrenic off his medication. Mark continued spiraling. Drunk driving, fights, and property damage. He later died from a suspected drug overdose in 2012, just months before the murder. By then, Sabrina had already been placed in a county-run group home because her grandmother could no longer care for her. At that home, counselors noted her anger issues, fighting, lying, stealing, and substance use. At 4 years old, she was diagnosed with ADHD. She often lashed out. Yet when she transferred schools and joined a foster family, her behavior dramatically improved. She attended classes daily and kept to herself. Uncontrollable anger, constant lies, drug addiction, and the invisible voices in her head. Sometimes she even stole small things, as if that was the only way to feel alive. Yet, when she transferred schools and joined a foster family, her behavior dramatically improved. She attended classes daily and kept to herself when she was 16, and everything was finally turning out well. Her new foster family was the Knoefel family. Lisa, the mother, was experienced in helping troubled youth through her job in child protection services. She deeply understood the value of compassion, and it was with that compassion that Lisa tried to treat Sabrina like her own child. Lisa started this job in 1999, the same year her daughter Mon was born. Her first marriage fell apart in 2003. In 2006, she met and married Kevin Knoefel. As for Kevin, he was previously married from 1992 to 1997 and has a son born in 1993, but the boy does not live with him. It's unclear exactly how Lisa and Kevin met, but they moved into the beautiful home on Chagrin Drive together in 2008. A year later, in 2009, they welcomed their daughter, Haley. At first, it worked. It is noted that although Sabrina has shown significant behavioral improvement, there are still many unresolved issues in the Knoefel family. But as months passed, arguments between Lisa and Sabrina became constant. Sabrina once confided to a friend that Lisa had made her life hell. Sabrina told friends she felt Lisa favored her biological daughters. A divide grew inside the home. Lisa, Megan, and Haley on one side, Kevin and Sabrina on the other. When Lisa scolded her, Sabrina turned to Kevin. He comforted her, listened to her frustrations, and slowly blurred the lines between father figure and confidant. Friends would later describe their closeness as unsettling, with jokes and touches that didn't seem right. Sabrina later admitted that Kevin became both a foster parent and a secret lover. She believed their connection was love. He made her feel chosen, wanted, and promised a life together.
How do you get along with Kevin?
Kevin and me are cool. I mean, he's more the one that helps me out because this has Megan to deal with. Megan has mental instabilities herself.
Okay.
And so we made agreements a long time ago that if I need anything, that I can go to Kevin.
Whenever the house was left alone, Kevin and Sabrina became closer. The 18-year-old girl called her adoptive father by the affectionate name Kevin Love in the iPod contact list.
What was his relationship to you?
It was when a foster father when needed to be, and when a lover when not being a foster father.
By 2012, their relationship had shifted completely. Sabrina saw Lisa as a barrier between her and Kevin, the only person who truly understood her, she thought.
She wanted me out.
Sabrina began acting like a second mother to little Haley, but Lisa resisted. One day, when Lisa tried to restrain her, Sabrina called the police, but nothing came of it. Despite growing chaos, Sabrina's caseworker approved her request to remain in the Cannell home even after turning 18 that October. According to the social worker's report, no problems of concern were found in the Cannell family. Sabrina was found to be doing well in school, compliant with psychotherapy sessions, honest in drug tests, and had no unusual behavior during the follow-up period. Behind closed doors, things were unraveling. Kevin's relationship with Lisa deteriorated. On September 15, 2012, police were called after he allegedly grabbed Megan by the neck. He told officers it was a misunderstanding, but the rift deepened. The argument ended and Lisa left the house, but Kevin went to the police, worried that the whole thing could be used as evidence in a future divorce. He then told Sabrina that he wanted to divorce Lisa so he could be with her. Kevin even asked Sabrina's social worker if that happened, would he be able to keep custody of her. On a family camping trip with an old friend, David Strunk Kevin confessed to a friend that Lisa suspected he was cheating, and she was right. He showed the friend photos of Sabrina, some inappropriate, and said he was considering divorce so he could be with her. He told acquaintances that he had started seeing a divorce lawyer in October 2012, just a month before Lisa was killed. Kevin was reportedly at work on the night of November 12th when he was notified by police. He arrived at the police station at 5 a.m. to pick up his two daughters, Haley and Megan, after being told that Sabrina was in custody. Officers said Kevin appeared unusually calm. He said he was a former EMT and was familiar with similar situations, and demanded to know the full details of the case. When he was refused access to Sabrina, he reacted violently, claiming he was her foster father and asking to be added to the visitor list. Meanwhile, Sabrina sat in an interrogation room, expression blank. When asked how she felt about Lisa's death, she simply said, "I don't know."
She's never seen the life of me, and she's been wanting me out of the house.
What's your thoughts on how Lisa is not alive now?
What?
What are your thoughts on that she is not alive?
She's gonna kill me.
According to her initial testimony, Sabrina denied any involvement in her adoptive mother's death. She said she had no memory of entering Lisa's bedroom to get the medication.
Remember,
When you came to the house, you had the knife in your hand.
Are you sure it wasn't self-defense?
there's always two sides to every story.
She claimed she couldn't remember, but the evidence, her fingerprints, her DNA, her confession, told another story.
You're under arrest. Lisa's dead, and it appears that you're responsible for that at this time.
This time, Sabrina was arrested and taken to jail. While out, Kevin donated all of Lisa's belongings and put her bedroom set up for sale. Kevin even asked Lisa's best friend, David, to close all of her social media accounts, saying he couldn't handle the flood of messages. He hired a company to come to the scene to clean up. He told people he had multiple life insurance policies and that money wasn't an issue. Lisa's life insurance policy was worth $250,000. But Kevin didn't stop there. After his wife's murder, he casually told one of Lisa's coworkers that a $50,000 salary wasn't much. A few weeks later, he took control of all of Lisa's insurance policies, both corporate and private, and collected a total of more than $785,000. The money was put to immediate use. He paid off his repossessed home, added a swimming pool, bought a new car, and took flying lessons. While Kevin is enjoying a new life, Sabrina languishes behind bars. But after months in custody, Sabrina broke. She reached out to prosecutors offering a full confession. She said Kevin had manipulated her, that he planned Lisa's death, coached her on how to kill, and promised they would live together afterward.
And why did you do that?
Because I was doing what I was told to do.
Kevin had promised Sabrina he would divorce her so they could be together. But by September 2012, he was starting to worry about losing his daughter and about losing his own child, Haley. In a private conversation, Kevin mentioned Lisa's life insurance policies, which totaled nearly $800,000. Then he said the words that changed everything. If she dies, she's worth more than alive. Kevin admitted that if Lisa were gone, he and Sabrina could start a life together. A conversation on the way to a Chinese buffet with his old friend Autumn Pavick revealed a budding idea: to use one of Autumn's friends to take care of Lisa in October. Autumn left for California and the plan died down but was not erased. In early November, the two continued their discussion, this time planning to use a pistol with a silencer. Sabrina would do the shooting, Kevin would throw the gun away.
Then it went to, let's use a gun. The plan was he was going to say he's going to drop me off at the roller rink, and I was going to go to the shooting range with him. Lisa said, why don't you ever do anything with me anymore? And so that didn't happen.
That morning, the usual drive to school took a turn for the worse. Kevin stopped the car and vented about his recent fight with Lisa. He said he had reached his limit, even threatening to kill himself if she didn't disappear. Sabrina, in love with him and caught up in her emotions, blurted out that she would take care of Lisa as soon as she could. They worked out a chilling plan. The stabbing would depend on the victim's position. In the back if she was on her side, in the throat if she was on her back, and the timing of the night when Lisa was asleep, but careful not to wake Haley, who often went back to sleep with her parents in the middle of the night. The key to their script was a defense in which Sabrina would claim she was insane. That's why she played the oblivious, disjointed role to the police. That's why she claimed she had no memory of the attack, because in their minds, a psychotic card could save everything. Kevin had told her this was her way out, and she listened.
What if I go to prison? And he said, you'll only do 25, and I'll get you lawyers, and I'll make sure that you're taken care of.
9 months later, Kevin's hopes were fading. He was no longer handling Sabrina's legal affairs, and all plans for an amnesia defense were falling apart. Sabrina, realizing she was a puppet, went to the prosecutor, offering to plead guilty in exchange for a chance to tell the truth. She cooperated, revealing Kevin's every move. Soon, his perfect escape began to fall apart. The police called Autumn Pavick, and through a secret meeting they arranged, Autumn lured Kevin into a meeting, a conversation that was recorded, helping to incriminate him.
The only thing that I'm worried about is that whole hitman thing.
Kevin remained silent. He admitted nothing on the tape, and searchers of his home, car, or electronic devices turned up no evidence. But with Sabrina's testimony, everything changed. In August 2013, he was arrested and charged with complicity in aggravated murder and sexual misconduct allegations. Sabrina pleaded guilty, was sentenced to life in prison with the chance of parole in 30 years, in 2042, when she would be 47. Kevin maintained his innocence, saying Sabrina was a liar, an addict, and an unstable person. But that revealed her true nature. She was a vulnerable child, and he, the one who took advantage of her. On June 11, 2014, the verdict was in. Kevin Knoefel was guilty on all charges. He received a total of several years in prison, including a life sentence with the possibility of parole after 30 years. What do you think of this story? Is it the tragedy of a girl being manipulated, or evidence of ruthless manipulation? Let us know what you think in the comments. Behind the headlines lies a twisted bond of trust and betrayal. This true crime documentary reveals how love, obsession, and manipulation destroyed the Knoefel family from within. Sometimes the real danger isn't born, it's shaped. As we close today's story, please remember that everything you've seen and heard is shared for context and understanding, not mockery. Law enforcement encounters can be complicated, and what you see on camera is only one moment in time. Certain words or attitudes might not reflect current standards, but they remain part of the record. By showing them as they were, we hope to keep the story accurate, not rewritten.